And it's funny because as engineers, neither Majida or I really love technical stuff that much. I
Yeah.
mean, I like it in certain areas, but like everybody has their technical language, right?
Yeah. I got two
You,
friends of mine that are both audio engineers, man, and talking to both of them is like talking to Charlie Brown teacher, man. It's a whole subject. And I'm talking about just audio engineering. That ain't got nothing to do with video. I
Yeah.
don't know no video engineers, but just as far as audio engineering, just the sound, that in itself is an immense subject, man. It really is.
you, you must forget that we were raised by Ronald Day,
Mhm.
the electrical
That's the
audio
third audio
engineer
engineer I know. The
extraordinaire.
third audio engineer that I know.
So anytime he's trying to tell me, like I showed him my mic and he was like, "That's cute." Hey, because he's
Right.
got like 50 of them, but I wouldn't know anything about him, and I still don't really know anything. But I wouldn't know anything about him if not for him.
Very complex subject.
Yes, yes. I can get into the physics of it. That's fun. A little bit. Sound wave pattern, break it down to a formula. You know what I'm saying? How they compress and combine and cancel out. I can talk that all day long.
All I want to know is what do I need to do to turn it on? Like, how do I get it to work?
And that's one reason why I haven't hooked up this stream deck that I got, which is the soundboard, the thing that I bought a couple of weeks back, where I can just hit the button and make a sound. I need a different mic setup, essentially. I either need a different mic setup or I gotta get somebody that knows a little bit about more technical stuff than I do to either to hook the stream deck up. I bought a second mic as well. So I got two mics in here right now as well. I can have somebody come over and we can do like a on site, you know what I mean? Both people have a mic, but I got to get all of that stuff set up though, man. I got to get both mics set up and I got to get the stream deck set up. And I got USB mics that plug straight into the computer. So that's a simpler setup, like something for you, Majida. Like I just want to plug it up and it work. But that ain't the right setup that I need with having two mics and having a soundboard. Like I need XLR mics, but I don't like that's $500 to go back and redo my whole setup. You know what I mean?
Oh man. So this is thrilling conversation. Good evening. On the eve of 2022. Welcome, welcome, welcome for those that are tuning in. I am your coach and mastermind, host Bakar Obey. This is the Seer Mastermind Podcast Show. Our story, our journey, our way with Maurice Bay, our mastermind, Majida Bay, our mastermind, and me, Coach Bakar Obey, your mastermind. And tonight, we're just gonna recap the year, have some fun, share some stories, see how much we can recall about what we did to make this year great, and what we're gonna do to make next year even greater. And man, I'm excited. I'm happy to see your faces. I remember 2 years ago when we were just starting masterminding, meeting in person, right? Kind of miss those in person meetups, but with the COVID climate and all of our rotating schedules, that we still been able to get together and keep things moving. But Maurice, Majida, who'd like to start? Just telling us a little bit about your day, your week, or you want to dive in and just tell us a little bit about what you're grateful for this year. How about we start there? What are you grateful for this year after 365 days? Ladies first.
I was letting Majida go first.
I'm still here. I'm grateful for that. I'm still on planet Earth, man. Actually,
Let's give it up for that.
yeah. Man, this has been. I feel like it's been a phenomenal year for me. Uh, I'm grateful for my growth. Like I really feel like I personally grew a lot this year. Uh, I was able to like identify some areas that um, I needed to improve in, but also identify areas that I had strengths in and really embrace and start to embody who I believe I'm supposed to become. I'm grateful for family. I had the opportunity to visit a lot of family this year. Time with
Yeah,
them.
you
That was
did.
right, like traveling. Grateful for that. Just really learning. I really feel like I lived this year. Like I wasn't just going through the motions and making ends meet. I think every time I say that, I think about
It's about to be funny. Come on with it. I can feel it.
well, no, I can't recall it like verbatim, but there was a Amazon Prime Video special by friend, poet, and comedian. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not recalling his name right now.
Roscoe?
Roscoe, yes. And he had
Shout
a
out to
poem.
Roscoe Burnhams.
Yeah, he had
Richmond,
a poem.
Virginia poet laureate.
But he had a poem about that, or you know, and it was about like ends meeting, like why is that even a thing? Like, why do they need to meet? And like what does that even add up to? Like making ends meet, you know, like so I might have to go back and watch that because I remember it was hilarious, but like also very revealing at the same time. So yeah, grateful for that. I feel like I got a lot of clarity just about the direction I want to move in and being at peace with it all. You know, like I've set some boundaries this year. Like that was really expiring. I gotta definitely thank you, Bakar, and my friend Kenya for helping me in some areas to draw some lines. Yeah, bro. You
know me. I take look, pour it on.
when
I
you
got short memory.
look, I'm gonna be
That's
real
funny.
specific. My brother and my friend Kenya both advised me to report a vehicle that was in my name as or threatened to report my vehicle as stolen if the individual who was in possession of it didn't return it. And it worked. And I got the vehicle back. Another story for another day, right? Like but I'm grateful for the adversity and the lessons learned and the people around me who've allowed me to grow in a lot of areas. So yeah, just super grateful. Grateful for y'all and this platform for us to share our story, our journey, our way.
That gets me excited every time. Just
Yeah.
to say that we have our own story, we have our own journeys, and we're doing it our way. Right? To me, that centers me. That really does.
Yeah.
How about you, Maurice?
I'm sorry, real quick,
Oh,
Maurice.
go ahead.
Well, just
You let him know when you ready.
Yeah. This is the last.
So you start throwing up. So
he froze on it. What? You said what, bro? Maurice.
I think he was talking about me throwing up peace signs.
Oh.
Going out and coming back in.
Oh.
And he's gone. All right. Go ahead and give us that final nugget.
Well, no, it was just thinking about where we were when we started this. I remember the place that I was in. We might have done this reflection last year, but the pace that I was in, like mentally and kind of feeling defeated or overwhelmed, anxious, and like I'm not gonna say that it's gone, but in the present moment, like I don't feel that pressure. So I feel good about that. I'm grateful for that. Like I've grown beyond that feeling that I had 2 years ago of feeling like I was carrying the weight of the world. Like this year I just let some stuff go. I had to release some weight, some people. I had to let some things go that and being okay with like really just being at peace with making decisions that were best for me, and not making decisions that were in the best interest of other people or putting other people before myself. Like I really started taking some time to take care of me. So feel good about that.
I love it, man. We're gonna come back to that too. We're gonna focus in on some key nuggets that help you to get free, to find some peace, to release some of those things that you have been letting go of for the last couple of years. We'll come back to that in a minute. How about you, bro, Maurice? What are some things you're grateful for in this past year, 2021? Yeah, the dramatic pause is great.
Can y'all hear me okay?
We can hear you now. But while you're figuring out that,
can y'all hear me okay?
I can hear you. But it's spotty.
Can you hear us?
You know what? I'm grateful for since 2020. We've
Mic
been
check. Mic check.
very, very kind and graceful with people when it comes to these mic checks. I laugh too. Like when you know your system is working, you don't have to do those mic checks. You know what I'm saying? Like when your internet running, I'm not making fun of them. But I think about how many calls I've been on the last 2 years where people come on, can y'all hear me? Can you hear me? Right? I'm not poking fun at anything like that, but it's good to know when you come on, your stuff's working, right? So I go with my Jesus route, keep it simple. While we're waiting for him to come back, I'll go ahead and share a couple of successes. So I'm happy to report that I have completed, or I ain't say completed, but continuing a 48-week streak of accountability. A 48-week streak of accountability. I let the month of January kind of go, right? I was going through some tumultuous times at the beginning of the year. But I shared this with my community and some of my coaching clients coming back. But I wanted to celebrate them for going 48 weeks of paying attention to what they do every day. And so for me, like I'm really, really extremely grateful. You said this year was a year that you lived, like a year of living. For me, it was a year of giving. I really felt like I gave a lot of myself, a lot more than I'm used to.
Okay.
A lot more than I've been holding back. I realize I've been holding back a lot because I tend to keep things in my head. But this year it's challenged me to lead, to journal, to really be accountable for my activities and my actions. Still climbing up this slope, still in a financial recovery. But my relationships are strong. My faith is strong. My accountability and responsibility is growing and getting greater. I'm grateful for everybody that invited me to speak or show up on a digital show, podcast. I think I did about 6 or 7 of those this year, which were all fun, all exciting. Matter of fact, check out my page as well. Just did one with my friend Bridget Wilson. And shout out to Bridget for that interview, and have some regular conversations I'll be doing in 2022. So excited about that going forward. But yeah, overall, like when I look back on this past year, there have been I can count more days where I was really fully engaged. I can count more days. And my focus this year was to finish year. I've started, programs, started projects, started things, and may not have seen it all the way through to the end. May have had to shift gears somewhere in the middle. But with my own business, H2G and accountability, like I can feel it getting stronger. I can feel it growing. We started it and finished the year, I think, with a really, really strong plan, and looking forward to bringing some people together at the beginning of the year. Hey, Nisi.
Hey.
Oh, she's too grown for us now. She's like, you don't have to talk to me. It's all good. It's all good. But this year really, really just been an enjoyable year. I feel like I can remember so much more. I can just about tell you what I was doing week to week, month to month. Right. I don't have an eidetic memory or nothing like that. There's your SAT word. Yeah. But I can go back to my journals and really, really recount like what I was doing week to week, month to month, and what it was about. And like I could go back and replay it don't like this view. And I don't know, for me, that just it's so empowering, so inspiring as well. Because thinking about continuing to do this going forward, oh man, the muscle's just going to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And I'll be able to compress more into a day and really get, build some momentum, not just for this year or this decade, but for like the rest of my life. I can't put this kind of thing down, until, God calls us to shift directions, something a little more drastically, or, who knows? We'll be replacing us with our offspring. Yeah. Maybe in 10 years, it'll be you. My niece and your nephew. Well, my nieces and nephews, and maybe a couple of my own here, doing their own calls, telling their stories, their journeys, and how they've lived through what we've shown and what we're building right now. So just throwing that out there. It's been a fun year, not just envisioning, but really being active. How about you, bro?
Can you hear me?
Yes, on a little bit of a delay, but I know you hate it when
still a
your stuff
delay,
ain't working,
man.
right?
I don't know what the problem is, man. I know I need help with the technical stuff. I'm gonna say it again. I'm gonna say it again. Now, y'all don't told me you got 2 engineers on with me right here. Like yo, you know what I really need? I was thinking about this. I need a like a studio interior decorator. I could really use somebody that got the knowledge of how to help me decorate my background. Right now, I just got up a green screen, but I got 2 shelves back here. You know what I mean? I could use somebody that got the ability to come in, help me get the right kind of lighting in here, help me, you know what I mean? Just help me set up my studio and help me set up my technical stuff as well. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, I wonder if there's anybody that does that I can call. I've been thinking about maybe like a Geek Squad or something like that. You know what I mean? Somebody I can call, just come by and be like, look, I need help with like 5 things that I'd be kicking my butt every single week when I go on live. I got Wi-Fi extenders, and still I got problem with Wi-Fi. I don't understand what the problem is. I don't know. But I could really use some help in that area, man. But anyway, let me go ahead and say what I'm gonna say while I got connection.
Let's go.
Growth is painful. All right, like growth is painful. So like I had a lot of growing pains this year, and I've experienced a lot of growth this year, as both of you have already spoken about. I've become more confident. Like, I'm talking about some of the less tangible stuff, less measurable stuff real quick. Like, I've become more confident this year. Like life is interesting, man. You can watch a boxing match, and it's the person a lot of the times that got the most confidence that will win. They might not even be the best. They might be the best, but they might not be the best. But that confidence piece is huge, man. It's huge. So like, and what I do as far as, YouTube, confidence is a huge issue. It really is. Like, you gotta be, as a YouTuber, if you want to be successful and grow on YouTube or on social media at all, you gotta be a trendsetter. You gotta believe in what you are doing, whether anybody else believes in it or not. You got to believe in what you're doing when others don't believe in it. Like, I've never had the experience of somebody telling me that what I'm going to do is not going to work. But I hear stories all the time of people saying, I had an idea and everybody around me told me it wouldn't work. Yet I believed in the idea enough to forge ahead and move forward. And what I get from that is, you got to think you're hot when nobody else thinks you're hot. And I know that sounds simple, but it's not really that simple. Like, a lot of us, especially in this online world, this is something that more and more people will be encountering as more and more people come online to build their businesses. This online thing, if you're the type of person, you're not used to putting your life out online, you're not out on the web, you're not used to putting it out there like that. When you make a decision to get online and start marketing your business or marketing your ideas or sharing your message or whatever, you're unconsciously / subconsciously, you're putting well, I'll just say unconsciously, you're putting yourself out there for the whole world to be able to see and to scrutinize. And you got to be okay with that. If your attitude is to say, you know what, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try to hide parts of myself, your audience and the world will hear that reservation in your undertone, and your messaging won't come through thorough. So like, from what I can see, the best way to do it is to just kind of approach it with a cavalier attitude of, you know what, it don't matter what they think. Like, the public is unstable
and ungrateful.
Say what? And ungrateful. Exactly.
You gotta have the confidence of like a 4-year-old.
100%. Because a lot of us, like, we all know that, but a lot of us we're looking for validation online. We need that validation. We think we need that validation online. Even the ones of us that are confident, we need that validation. And like, if you only get it, if you're getting all of that energy from your audience, if you're only hot when they think you hot, and then when they don't think you hot, you start doubting yourself, like, you're not gonna go anywhere. You know what I mean? So my confidence has definitely grown. My belief in what I feel that I have come to know, and that has just happened, I believe, just through experience, just through going through the experience of things, right? So the confidence growth and confidence has been a huge piece in it. Obviously, the stick-to-itiveness is another piece that I would say that any entrepreneur that want to be successful, like, you got to have stick-to-itiveness. If you want to lose a bunch of weight, if you want to move a mountain, you got to have stick-to-itiveness. You got to, you know what I mean? You which means you can't always be looking at the result. Going back to what I said a minute ago, like, if you only feel good about it when you get the result or when you see the result, I get that. But a lot of the times, the stuff that we put out, we may not see the result, but it's impacting people. You know what I mean? And so, like, just
by stick-to-itiveness, he means resiliency for all of those who are.
Yeah. That's a word. That's a word that my distributor in Kirby used to drum in our head. You got to have stick-to-itiveness. You got to stick to it. Like, everything has a learning curve, and you got to get through. You got to get through the learning curve. Trucking has a learning curve. YouTube has a learning curve. Building online, building social media, learning how to build an audience, learning how to sell stuff to that audience. All of that stuff has a learning curve, and you got to be willing to stick to it. Most people that come online is looking for quick results. Everybody and their mother has heard that you shouldn't be looking for quick results, but most people is looking for quick. They looking for fast, right? Like, nobody really looking for like definite. People want to see, like, I want to get there in 90 days. I want to get there in 6 months. And, you know, like, what if that don't happen? Like, I say I want it at all costs, but then it's like, if I don't see it happening in 6 months, you know what I mean? So it's like you got to be willing to stick to it, and you might have to go past 6 months. So the stick-to-itiveness, the confidence, those things. But I mean, the more tangible things, like, you know, my income has grown by about 4 times this year. You know, I went from working for my pop to driving my own truck. I bought and paid for my international. I bought and paid for, well, I didn't finish paying for it yet, but I bought a trailer, and I'm still actually making payments on. I bought a second truck that I bought and paid for. I bought my pickup truck that I bought and paid for. My YouTube income has grown by, I think at this time last year, I can't remember, man. I'm just gonna say I was around 200 or 300 this time last year, 200 or 300 a month. I can look back and find out, but I think that's somewhere around where I was. So remember, my YouTube income has grown by about 5x. My influence on YouTube has grown a whole lot. My relationship with my wife has grown. I've grown in a whole lot of areas this year, man. Just like I say, confidence and just the whole nine. But growth is painful. It's been a tough year. It's been a, you know what I mean? It's been a year where I got to stay focused. I had to say no to a lot of stuff that I don't like to say no. Man, I've been grinding this entrepreneur thing out for a long time, bro. I've been putting in the hours and putting in the time and doing the late nights and staying focused and saying no and staying disciplined and locking myself in when everybody else around me is doing something else. I've been doing that stuff for a long time, man. So, you know, it's you know, I accomplished a lot this year, and I feel good. I feel good about this year. I definitely feel good about this.
We had the soundboard. We can give a little
man.
Round of applause.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Made a lot of mistakes this year as well, though. I can't lie about that one. Definitely made some mistakes this year.
Come on now. Now, you know what? I was going to go in a different direction, but that just resonated with me because I noticed some people who were sitting here thinking about everything that they didn't do as they're watching this, everything they didn't accomplish, all the mistakes they made, why this year wasn't their year, right? So instead of just beating ourselves up with the mistakes, how about we take a minute just to reflect, identify, if you want to share, whatever it is, what mistakes did you make, and how have you made any corrections, and what corrections did you make?
There are no mistakes, only lessons.
Come on now. What
John
you mean
Maxwell.
by that?
Came from John Maxwell. If you learn from it, there was no mistake.
I would agree.
I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago when Mensa was on, and he gave us that whole analogy about the road going left, right, or straight, and he's like, sometimes you got to turn back, make a U-turn. But if you just stay there, stay stuck, and don't learn anything,
you don't move. Yeah, that's the mistake. The mistake is not moving forward. Like, make a decision, take a turn, do something, So
I'm feeling like Maurice a little bit right now, though, as I'm listening to you, my G. Yeah, you got to do something. But I'm thinking about, can I look at it from a different perspective?
I mean, because
I know Maurice is like, yeah, you make mistakes. I know you feeling it.
So okay, mistakes meaning, I didn't get the outcome or the result that I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, we could say but I don't consider that a mistake. I consider it a lesson. Like, all right, I made a decision, right? And this is also from John Maxwell. There are no right or wrong decisions. You make a decision and then you make it right.
Mm-hmm.
So you decide, right? Decisiveness really is the gift. When you're indecisive and you're not making decisions, you're not moving. You're staying stagnant. You're staying stuck. But as long as you make a decision, what?
I disagree with that. But go ahead.
Come on with it.
That's why I just slip it in there. It's nothing to speak on. Continue.
Well, no, I mean, it's just that's and I know I may be unpopular in that perspective, not just between us, but in general. Like, I have a very unregretful, if that's a word, like, perspective on certain things. If I had the choice to make again, would I make a different choice? Possibly, but then I'd have a different outcome. And so I don't waste time feeling guilty about the choice that I made.
I agree.
I live with the choice that I made, and I make the best of that choice. Right? Because I could say that I regret the decision I made to be in a relationship with somebody that led to the birth of my child. Like, everything changes if I make a different decision, and the person that I was made the decision to be. I'm not that person anymore. And that relationship, that adversity in that relationship, helped me to grow into who I am today. Somebody who does set boundaries, because maybe I never would have started setting the boundaries had I not dealt with a certain level of adversity that helped me to draw a line in the sand that I hadn't before. So I've always felt like that pressure, if you will, that adversity. I think you've used this term before. You've spoken about this before. How, like, you can't. You have to be tested to prove, like, your strength. It wasn't specifically like, but like, we've been taught it. Without a foe, a soldier never knows his strength, and thought must be developed by the exercise of strength. And so, like, when I'm not tested, when I'm not facing the adversity, I don't know how strong I am or how capable I am or whether I am what I say I am right. So, like, the test was, all right, is this the right relationship or is it not? So maybe I failed the test in choosing the partner, but then I passed the test in knowing when to get out. Knowing that, all right, this wasn't the best decision. Let me make it right and move forward.
And course correct, right?
Yeah, make the course correction. So yeah, I always see it as failing forward, right? Failure is not final. Just fail forward.
Mm, that's a bar. Drop that in the chat for
It's
failure is
it's
not final.
yeah, but failing forward is John Maxwell.
Welcome those that are hanging out with us tonight. Glad you could join us. Maurice, a rebuttal?
No, not a rebuttal. Not a rebuttal. No, I agree with everything Margita was saying just now. The only thing I had a little bit of pushback on is when you mentioned that when you're not making decisions. I slipped my mind exactly the words that you used, but you were like when you're not making decisions, or when you're not when you're indecisive. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I mean, you tell me what you think about this. Like, I don't think it's such a bad idea that when you don't know what to do, don't do nothing. Like, just sleep on it. You know what I mean? Just don't do nothing. In other words, like, just because you're being indecisive, that don't mean that things aren't moving forward. Mm-hmm. That don't mean that they there are red lights. Mm-hmm. In life. So, I mean, sometimes you just need to sit there and just wait for the right time. You know, I ain't saying that we know that, but I would say that's something that could be going on as well. You know what I mean? If I'm the cheetah and I'm looking to hunt and I'm watching the animals, I'm watching the herd go past in front of me. If I don't time it, if I jump out there too quick, I end up not eating. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the timing is everything. So,
but he's still deciding. He's deciding to wait.
Exactly. Or he's deciding just to I'm gonna let a better opportunity come along.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, though. Like being decisive, and we're gonna tie this into preparing your life forward for making 2022 a better year. But I think being decisive.
Sneezing and yawning. God dang. What the heck is going on?
But being decisive is and waiting, you know. Where was I going with this? All right, hold on. Got too deep for my intro.
Just wait.
Just wait. So being indecisive and waiting are not necessarily the same thing, right? Waiting is a decision. Yeah. The way I look at being indecisive, and one of the things that as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, gets people stuck is staying on one decision. Like if I'm that hypothetical cheetah or lion or whatever, and I'm looking at the same gazelle, and I'm like, do I chase it now or no? When there's so many other opportunities that are running by me, but I'm stuck on this one. Right? To me, that's where I think about indecision, because I can say, you could look at that, it goes by. Once it's hit a certain range, let it go. Right? If it's not in your window of opportunity, I think that's one of the things that I've that's really helped me this year, is just sticking with what's in my window of opportunity. And that's something definitely gonna carry going forward, because my tendency as a visionary is to open up the window as wide as I can see. Problem is, I can only reach so much that's within that field of vision, right? And so for me, this year was a big year about making my goals, or finding out how realistic, like what size, not to shrink my goal, but just shrink my viewing window to something that's more reasonable and attainable in the time frame that I'm looking at, right? Because it's not unlike me to imagine my whole lifespan. Man, I'm gonna be here. I don't know when, but it's all in my field of vision. But what I needed to do, one of the things that really helped me this year, was learning how to kind of shrink that window and order my steps to focus only on what's in that field of view, right? Keep in mind, hey, the river's going to bend and turn, and I can't see around every corner, but I'm going to focus on paddling where I can see right now. Or people use the analogy of, when you drive in the night and you can only see as far as the headlights, right? And that's how you make your decisions, based on what's in front of you, not, what's 12 miles down the road. And it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to put it in practice. That's another thing, I think, one of the big lessons from this year. And so for some people, it's like, this may be automatic. This may already click. But I want to reinforce this idea that thinking about what you want to do and experiencing what you do or what you desire are completely different experiences. You can imagine, simulate, oh man, it's going to go like this. But until you get into the situation and start living it out, you're not going to get all the information that you need to make it happen. Right. I can sit here and dream about what it's like to lift weights and run a marathon. And I can play that over in my mind. I can run the marathon. But until I go out and start practicing and training and experiencing what it's actually like, I won't really know what the mental load is, what the physical challenges are that accompany those mental hurdles, right? So for those that are sitting out there thinking about what it is that you want to do, man, get out there as soon as you can to get some experience behind this. Get some experience behind what you desire, what you wanted to do, because just thinking about living a great life is not going to create the great life for you.
Yeah, that need to be the message for the next generation.
Yo, you know, as we're talking about this, I'm just thinking about something that I say all of the time. This is right in line with something that I believe. Like, if you want to start a business, we talk about this all the time, man. It's a bunch of places you can start, and a person would be looking at this and not know where to start. Like, start by helping somebody, because thinking about it and studying it and reading up on it and going to conferences, not that I'm down in going to conferences or anything, but going to conferences, watching YouTube videos and studying and taking polls and researching and all of the stuff that you hear that people do before they start a business. It's like, just go help somebody. Like, just go help somebody. Like, you're going to learn more by going. I was talking to Yasmin about this the other day, about learning Spanish. It's the same thing. Like, and she would like to enhance her understanding, her ability to speak and communicate in Spanish. And I'm all down for it because that's a valuable skill. And she's talking about, Rosetta Stone, and we was talking about Duolingo and all of that stuff. And I'm like, yo, babe, you probably be better suited just to go get a Spanish friend and just interact with them every day for 15 or 20 minutes. Just go immerse your, immersion is the key. Like, if you want to learn, just go immerse yourself in the process, man. So that was my whole point. And I'm kind of piggybacking on what you just now said, Bakar, because again, thinking about it ain't gonna do it. Nothing no book that you gonna read is gonna create a client or create momentum or find you a lead or any of that. Just go. I want to start a business. All right, what business do I want to start? All right, okay, I'm gonna start that business. Okay, who is it that I know of right now that needs this right now, and how is it that I can help, that I can serve them right now? Right now, from where they are, from where I am right now. Well, I need this first, and I need to figure that out first. And I need to hold on. Just go. Somebody that got a problem. Okay, I'm gonna help you solve your problem. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna do it for free. So there's no obligation in it. And start there. You'll learn a whole lot more in the process. You get a whole lot more confidence in yourself than all the reading and studying and all that stuff that you could ever do. So I'm sorry, I mean to jump in, Bakar.
No, that's cool. I was actually saving this analogy for a good time, and what better time than now? One of the things that really clicked for me is if you want to learn how to swim, you got to get in the right environment, right? You're not going to learn how to swim on land. You're not going to learn how to swim on laying in the bed. You're not going to learn how to swim. You need to get in a body of water, right? I don't know anybody that's ever learned how to swim outside a body of water. Okay. They didn't just come up with, I figured it out in my head. Right. They say babies come out the womb. Why? Because they spent time in water, right? In fluid. And they're used to it, right? But that's just like anything for those that, that taught us how to fly, right? How to drive a car. There aren't thought experiments. These are things that you have to get into the environment and do and take action to see results. And I think that's, for me, been one of the biggest breakthroughs this year. When I was talking about starting a coaching business last year, and I put some things together and I sat down with somebody and I did it for free and I got some feedback and I brought it to the mastermind. It was like, okay, so how you tend to do it? 1 year later of thinking about it and planning it and talking to people and giving it away for free, I'm saying, okay, I got something here. How am I going to do it? And then it was showing up and doing it for, as I mentioned, 48 weeks. To me, that year of thinking about it compared to the year of doing it, man, the difference in just understanding and growth and like nothing I could have thought about could have prepared me for everything I needed to do and learn and experience, or that I experienced going out and doing it every day. Right. I think that's why one of the things I want to encourage people to do is, like, when you find your purpose or you find a passion, like, get out there and experience it. If you got some interest, get some exposure to it. Get into an environment where you can do that thing to know if it's something that you want to keep doing for the rest of your life or for a season, right? Or for a good reason. Get into it. Like, stop thinking about it. And like, as soon as you had a thought, do some quick research, find out where you can go do that thing, find the resources, and go do the thing. Right. Matter of fact, I'm going back into teach. I took a break from teaching, but I'm going teaching on the university level next year. I'm claiming it because I love the environment. I love the students. I've been tutoring and coaching and all of that. I'm just like, man, there's got to be a place where I can come do my thing the way I want to do my thing, right? And without a whole lot of without certifications and this and that, right? I intend to go back to school for a PhD. Right. And I find myself sitting around. But it wasn't until I started looking at, man, what are the deadlines for the GRE, that I was like, okay, yeah, now it feels like that thing about to happen. Like, why do I want to do that, man? Because I don't know one in my family. And I don't mind setting a standard for that. Not just to know the stuff, but like I know for me to take it and I'm going to apply it to my life. Right. May take some time, got to boil it all down, but I'm just like, man, there's this thing that I'm really passionate about when it comes to accountability, when it comes to lifestyle and habit coaching. And I see people teaching about it, and I see people who've got programs and systems and things, but I don't know anybody who's really defined it yet. Right. And I can sit here and talk about it, but like, talking about it's not going to get the research done. So in the coming weeks, coming years, man, it's going to be focused on doing the research. Like, who's talking about it? And then how do I get around these people so I can talk with them about it? That to me is what 2022 was really going to look. And not just 2022, but like the rest of this decade. It's just like, where can I go immerse myself in doing the things that I want to do? And Majida, I think you've had a lot of immersive experiences this year.
Yes.
Well. So tell us about, because I did 2 conferences this year, one virtual, one in person, and both outstanding, phenomenal. Shout out to the ETA squad and 120 group. But you've had some immersive experiences. So would you like to share just what is that immersive environment experience have been like, and how's it helped you really find the peace and things that you were looking for the past year?
Getting in different environments helped me to recognize the ideal environment for me. Like the environment that will allow me to grow. So when my research is talking about growing and growing pains, being in the right environment will help facilitate that. Because you can be in some environments and you won't grow because the people around you, the environment doesn't facilitate that growth. So if I can say that's something that friends of mine have expressed about me, is like, I seek out where I can grow. Like, I seek out the places that will allow me to grow. So the 120 conference was definitely important. But I feel like the accountability, Breathe University has been even more pivotal. The consistency, the kind of, and then, within Breathe University, I've been able to find a small group that I can check in with on a regular basis, be held accountable to, and vice versa. But what I recognize being in large environments is that I don't like them. I just, like, no, I can't. I like I. It's
is
not,
that true, or is it just the quality of
no,
the environment?
I mean, I can't stay in them. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I'm yeah. Large environments are not environments where I can sustain.
Right.
You know, like I can get
I
in.
can't be around a whole lot of people right now. I don't know if
That's
that's what you're
more
saying, but
adaptive,
that's what
right?
I'm saying.
Right,
I
right.
can't be
Yeah,
around
we
a whole
around
lot of people right now.
for a long period of time, right? Like
I can't do it.
a weekend, and right. But I, because I often in those environments, I tend to like, I'm not going to stand out. That's just not who I am. I don't want to stand. I kind of like fade into the background. I fade into the group. I'm not looking to stand out. I like smaller groups, one-on-one, because that's where I can be more effective. Like I can really maximize my strength. Is because I'm very results oriented or task oriented. It's like, who do I need to talk to get things done? And you can't do that talking to a bunch of people. Y'all just talk, like, if there's a bunch of people in the room, all you're doing is talking. Everybody's expressing themselves. But if I'm talking to one person, it's more productive for me. And so that's usually where I like to focus my energy. And like, I'm okay with that. Like, I really have embraced being okay with not moving at a fast pace. I move at a slower pace, but I'm deliberate about the pace that I move. I care about the quality. I even I shared this with John earlier this week. This is I even call it my word or phrase for 2022, is that I care. And those are the 4 things that I care about: competence, accountability, reliability, and excellence in everything I do. Parenting, in relationships, in my job, in my business, like everything I do is surrounded by care. And I came up with this some years ago on Instagram, like care to prosper, right? But this idea that like I'm only going to prosper because I care, like that's my superpower. That's my is that I care about how I show up and how I perform. And I want to surround myself with people who care, period, right? Like you want to be there, you care about the vision, you care about the results, you care about the reputation, like you got to care. And it's definitely something that I don't feel like enough people bring to whatever they do, whether it's their job, their relationship, right? Like are you willing to go the extra mile or willing to put forth the effort? Are you willing to care enough? I shared this earlier this week on our show, on my show with John, is that, Jerome says, if you care at all, you can get good results. But if you care enough, you can get incredible results. And I know I'm somebody that cares enough, right? I don't just care. I care more than enough about what transpired, right? Even the decisions that I make in my life, right? I care about my children's future. So this past year, I put an estate plan in place, right? Like that's how much I care, right? It's going to show up in my results, right? Like the things that I do are going to reflect how much I care or why I care. I care about their experiences, so I'm going to invest in the things that's going to expose them and allow them to have certain experiences. And it all comes from care, right? So you can use care on its own, but that's how I hold myself accountable. Like that's really in looking forward, right? I said, look back for insight, look forward for inspiration. Like I'm inspired by care, right? Like that's what's going to be my North Star, not just in 2022, but moving forward. Like when people think about me, they're going to be able to think about that acronym or that phrase.
Oh, that's powerful. Maurice, you got a guiding star? Something that's leading you into the new year? As we count down, we are time away. I'm just gonna say time away. I ain't do the math that quick.
Already 2022 somewhere in the world.
It is. It is. Shout out to London. Shout out to
Dubai.
Africa. Pretty much everywhere, but but where we are. Everybody else is Happy New Year.
And then on another level, it really ain't 2022. That's on another level. You know what I mean? That's just a label that we put on this day, this time, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, we've been here a little longer than that, right?
Yeah, like time didn't really go down and then go back up to 2022. That's how it's set up for us, but that's not really what, you know what I mean? Like, that's not really what happened, you know what I mean? So anyway,
the arrogance of humans.
You know, my guiding star, man, is I want to make, and this is not just 2022, this is 2020, 2019, 2015, 2025. This is it. I've thought a lot about this. I want to make it possible for people around me that need it. Like, that's the simplest way I can put it. I want to make it possible for the people around me that need it. And one group of people I think of that need it, that I would say that need it, are young people around me. You know,
they need what though?
Possibility. That need possibility. Like, there's young people in this world right now that's gonna grow up and start just following in the footsteps of what has come before them, or what the norms that have been set before them. There's young people that are gonna come up right now and hear them say in schools, go to college, get a good education, go in debt, come out of school, go in more debt, buy a house. They're going to follow that pattern, and they're not going to follow it because they think that that's the best way. They might think that, but they're thinking that because they've been programmed to think that way. And to me, exposure is the main element. Like, we talked about this before, like, it's hard to think outside of the realms of what you've been exposed to, right? So
it is.
You know, there are young people in my life that I would say that they need it. They need to see that it's possible. And if you want to say what is it, you already asked what do they need. It's possible, meaning you don't have to follow that path. You don't have to work for somebody else that you don't want to. You don't have to work at a profession that you don't want to. You can do things more on your terms, in my opinion, now in this day and age than you ever could before. Right? Like, you can use the internet instead of having it use you. You can live your life and just document your lifestyle and create a life for yourself, create money for yourself, create income for yourself. You know, like, you can create ebooks and sell courses. You know, the lady that that's in my other mastermind, Nicole Havlicek, that does pickleball. She does primetime pickleball. She launched a e-course earlier this year. An e-course. She launched it, I want to say around February or March, right around the same time that I launched my Mighty Network, my group, which I didn't, you know, I mean, I cut mine off after a few weeks, but she launched hers, I want to say like the next month, somewhere right around February or March, right? Now her e-course, I believe, is $2.99. It's on sale the whole year, all the time, year round, from her website, but she promotes it on her YouTube channel. That's her main media channel on YouTube. So she promotes it there, but it's for sale on her website year round. And throughout the year, she does specials where she marks it down. She just did a Black Friday sale a few weeks back. And you know, through Black Friday and Cyber Monday. I think I recall her saying because she showed us the figures. She made 30 grand on her e-course sale, her campaign, her Black Friday campaign. She made 30 grand on her Black Friday campaign. And from Friday to Monday on an e-course. We're not talking about a physical product where you got to buy and hold in a warehouse and you bought it for $10 and you selling it for $20 and you got to manage inventory and all that stuff. We're talking about a e-course. We talking about, you know what I mean?
Intellectual property that
a
she
virtual course that she created one time. You understand what I'm saying? And she can sell it over and over and over again as many times as she want to. I think that she said her total this year was somewhere right around 300 grand that she's made on that e-course this year. She's an injured either pickleball player or tennis player, one of the two. And I mean, she said she was down to her last few $1,000s, man. You know what I'm saying? She's not employable. She couldn't go and get a job. You know what I mean? I'm just rambling all that off just to say that, yo, we live in an amazing era right now. And like I said, man, I mean, we all going through our struggles. We all got our struggles, but like technically speaking, it's no reason to struggle right now. It really is no reason to struggle, man. And the same way that, like, I might struggle to learn Spanish, or my wife might struggle to learn Spanish. If my child comes up in a Spanish-speaking environment, they won't struggle to learn Spanish. Right. So while me and my wife may struggle with finances and where to get them from and how to create and all of this good stuff, if you know, to make it possible to young people around me for them to see, like it ain't even, it's not like with us. Right. Where we ain't never see it. My parents never saw it. I want them to be able to see it. And of course, they can go. I don't want to force anybody. You know, you might look at anything that I may accomplish in the future and say, I don't want no parts of that. It's not about forcing a person to come my way. It's just about you having another option. And like I said, the main group of people I think about is children. But the second group of people I think about is adults. You know what I mean? Adults that are close to me and that are around me. You know what I mean?
Covers everybody.
Yeah. So, yeah. But I mean, again, this isn't. Again, notice that I said I want to be able to demonstrate possibility for those that need it. Like everybody don't need it. You know what I'm saying?
So it sounds like you want to create exposures for those who have.
I want to create exposures for those that need it. It's gonna be young people in this world that, like, with the right exposure, they may not need to suffer. Mm-hmm. You may be able to expose them to a different way a lot sooner, man. And you know, I've had young people reach out to me on my YouTube channel. I had a little boy reach out to me on my street. Not a little boy no more. He's probably 19, 20 years old now. But he was a friend of Maurice's, and he reached out to me a couple months ago, left a message on one of my YouTube videos. Like, I ain't know you was doing this, and we on the same street. This is really, really cool. It's like, yo, that's cool, man. Like, YouTube is a hell of an impact, and to have young people looking at, you know, Yashea and Tiana and Miles, like Miles, my nephew Miles, like your channel be popping, bro. Like, your channel is popping. You know, it's interesting, man. It's just like network marketing. Like, you get in network marketing, you approach everybody with it, and nobody wants to come along with you. The holy grail is to get to the point that you've done so well that now everybody want to come back and say, yo, let me take a look at that network marketing thing that you was doing again. You know what I mean? And this YouTube thing kind of is the same way. Like, people see me doing something, they see me building it, but to start to see people come back around and say, that's interesting, man. You know, that's where I would like to take this thing to. And that's the main driving force, man. That is the main reason why I continue to do it and to push and to go. I want people to look at me once I'm doing the things that I want to do. As I get this house, I'm gonna buy a house next year. I want to get into investment. I'm going to get into investment real estate. It's like time to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? And as I'm driving my own truck and living in a nice house and podcasting and YouTubing from my own studio and taking time off when I get ready to, and only working for myself and doing things my way. I want young people to look at me like, yo, that's crazy. Like, yo, that's what's up. I think I that's interesting. Like, I don't know if I want to go this other way, this traditional, this typical way or not. Like, we living in a hell of a time for possibilities right now, man, for real.
So, indeed we are.
That's the North Star right there, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. I was wondering what you were answering for a second. You brought it back to the North Star.
That's what it is. That's the driving force for me right there, man. I want people that are close to me to be able to look and say, damn, that's what's up. That's interesting. I like how you did that. I like how you did that. That's what I want. You know, like, ain't no use in you suffering if somebody around you has shown you possibility, you know?
So
and I
would
feel
say
like I'm
for
doing
me,
it in a simple way. So I'll be quiet after this. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm doing it in a simple way. I feel like I'm doing it in a very simple way. Living my life and documenting the process. If I can carve out a niche for myself in this world, which anybody, you should be able to. We got the internet. Whatever you into, there are other people that would like to know about what you've done. So, like, that's all I'm doing is living my life and documenting my process. And there's so many people right now that don't understand that you can make a living. You can make money just by doing that in this world that we in right now. So that's what that's like I want to demonstrate possibility for those that need it. I'm sorry.
Oh man, no, that's powerful. That's powerful. And for me, actually, something along that line. I have a mantra. So my GD, you got your care. That's what you're leading with. Maurice is for you is possibility and exposure. And for me, it's so my business Habit to Greatness. We do coaching accountability. And one of the things I found myself really, really helping people is using James Clear. Shout out to James Clear with Atomic Habits. Using his habit building formula or habit breaking formula, right? So for me, it's about helping people build good habits and break bad ones, right? I was so compelled. I saw this in a grocery store and I was like, gotta have it. Didn't even think twice about it because it's so aligned with me and everything I'm doing forward. But there are four things that he says as part of building good habits, right? Make it obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Right. So make the things that you do obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. You set up your world, your environment, so that you got obvious clues for the things that you desire to do. Right. That's what we're talking about, getting into an environment, really immersing yourself in the things, and everything becomes a trigger and a cue for you to do the things you desire to do and not do the things you don't desire to do. Right. Well, for me, I thought, okay, obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying is a start. What does the end look like? Because for me, I have to resolve in my heart. If I waver at all, I know I'm not going to see it all the way through to the end. So to me, I thought, what's the pinnacle of obvious? For me, unavoidable. So for me, my aim is to make the things that I want in life unavoidable. Like I'm bumping up into success everywhere I go. I'm seeing the cue. Like this is what you want. The people that I'm surrounded with, the environment that I'm in. I'm doing everything in my power from here forward to make the greatest life that I could live unavoidable. And then the second stage, that make it attractive. What's the pinnacle of attractiveness? For me, it's being what is it? I just had it. Obvious, attractive to it's right there on the tip of my tongue. And I know I got it written down somewhere, but I know it. It's in my heart, in my spirit. So more than attractive, making it irresistible. That's the word I'm looking for. It resonates. It hits a little different. Like attractive versus irresistible. Like, man, I mean, it looked good, but it's like, oh no, I gotta have it. Right. So not just settling for obvious, but making it unavoidable. Not settling for attractive, but making it irresistible. Right. Now, easy. This is probably my favorite one. Is not just making the things you want easy, but effortless. And I don't mean that you don't have to do anything. And I think this is where a lot of people will get tripped up on this journey, is they'll look for effortless in the beginning, but effortless is built through repetition. Effortless is built through experience. Nobody wakes up and does anything but breathe effortlessly. Right? I think about what E.T. said, when you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. Be
careful when you say that in the middle of a coronavirus pandemic that's stopping people from breathing, okay?
So again, they weren't born with the virus. I'll leave it at that. But understanding that when we think about what's effortless, like our brain does so many things effortlessly. As a matter of fact, building habits is something that our brains do effortlessly. We don't think about the habits that we create. They're simply built by the repetition of the things we do most consistently. That's why you say, hey, it's like riding a bike or like driving a car. It's because you've done enough reps that your mind has created an automatic routine for you to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
When you signal the right cues, when you hop on the bike, it's just like, oh, my body remembers, the muscle memory, right? All of that's built in, but making things effortless. And this is why I hawk my hat is, man, I want a great life to be effortless. When somebody says, hey, you want to go to Dubai? Effortless.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And you want to go back to Dubai? Effortless. You want to hang out in Brazil? Let me check my calendar. Effortless. Right. Hey, you want to do a New Year's party? Effortless. You showing up to the podcast? Effortless. Right. No matter what, this is where I'm going to be in the midst of a great life. And then the last one, making it satisfying. This is for me is like the key to fulfillment. Right. So y'all get my unlocking my cheat code for the year, right? Is don't just settle for changing good habits, but like resolve in you. Great habits are going to create the life that you want. Resolve. It's the things that you do repeatedly, right? It's the things that you do repeatedly that's going to create the outcomes that you desire. So if I see myself as a teacher the rest of my life, I'm going to immerse myself into a teaching environment. Or coaching the rest of my life, I'm going to immerse myself in a coaching environment. Traveling, I'm going to immerse myself in the traveling environment, right? Or around people who travel regularly, right? And I know that there are going to be some trade-offs, right? That you can't do all things all the time. That there will be seasons for certain things, right? But being able to set up and schedule your life so that those seasons. Oh no, the satisfying piece is fulfilling. That's the last piece. It's making it fulfilling, right?
You didn't say that.
I had like 12 things where it's like, no, it's not worth arguing over, right? Pick your battles, Bakar. Pick your battles.
You said a lot, and that's what I pulled out of what you said.
You got it. You got it. But that's my resolve. That's my word too. Resolve. Like for me, it's about resolving in myself. You know, as our teachings say, establishing to thyself principles of action, see that you ever act accordingly. And that to be wise is that happy, but those who exercise their resolve is what builds and creates wisdom, right? So exercise, yeah. So for those that have resolutions, so for me, like life is about resolving who you're going to become. It's setting in my mind, all right, this is who I am, and then how do I translate that?
And I manifest it.
How do I manifest it internally and externally? How do I align my thoughts so that it's unavoidable, irresistible, effortless, and fulfilling the thoughts that I have and the actions that I take each and every day? Like to me, that's my North Star. Those are things I can do every day. Is man, how can I make this thing that I want unavoidable? How can I make this thing that I want irresistible? How can I make this thing I want effortless? How can I make this thing I want fulfilling? And so every day I'm chipping away at the way that I may waver in my desires or my dreams and building more resolve. Hey, you know what? I'm going to enjoy myself today without any guilt.
Puerto Rico.
Well, what are the things do I need to do to have a guilt-free day?
Mm-hmm.
Will it feel great that by 10 o'clock I have, business, finance, those things sewn up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, how am I going to, and from here forward, like that's my formula. Now, that's going to make it really difficult at times to work with other people because guess what? There's going to be a whole lot of no. Why? Because I have the freedom of structure in my life. All right. And this is not like a commercial for my program for 2022. But what I'm saying is what I've learned being around you all is, man, developing that consistency, doing the things that matter to you, right? Being unapologetic about who you are and who you're becoming. Maurice, I'm still building this YouTube muscle because I'm realizing, man, I got to be out on social media. I just don't want to be alone doing it. That's what I figured out. I don't want to be alone doing it. Just sitting there talking to myself or talking to an imaginary audience. Like that doesn't work for me. But heck, the one person in the room, and I'm like, let's go. Let's go. One person, that's all it takes. So I started a show with one of my coaches. But we focus on breaking bad habits. And all
Don't they got a show on TV called Breaking Bad Habits?
It's called Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay.
I just threw the habits part of it. So look out for that coming in January, right? We put out our first.
You haven't launched it yet.
No, been holding on to it. And that's another thing. It's like I've been putting in, but it's like, okay, do I have to do all of this work, or how can I make these things again more effortless?
Yeah.
It's like scheduling it and having somebody to show up with. Like for me, 24-hour surveillance. That's the way I'm looking at it. I build a life where I got 24-hour surveillance. Not only eyes on me all the time, because one of the things that I know about myself too is when I'm surrounded by people, I'm focused on their needs more than my own, most often. And once their needs are met, then I can turn. So I need quiet time.
Yeah.
Right. I need quiet time to focus on my stuff. But that's usually when people are resting. Like that's I got to do that when people ain't moving and stirring around me. I got to create a nice, safe, quiet environment for me to dial in. But once I get moving momentum, it's just like I'm the juggernaut. Like, hey, can you? Nope. It's like But building my life so that I can. Hey, let me compress my time. Build my life around a certain habit, and then once I have those things done, man, the rest of the day I can bend, I can flex, I can relax a little bit more to deal with the needs of those around me, right? To create more possibilities and exposure, to give the care that I've been building up for myself. Like for me, it's about that moment of self-care every day. It starts with those moments of self-care, of rest and exercise and morning routine and things like that. So that's my North Star, is like building the pinnacle of a habit-driven life all around me. And I know it's not like something that I'm gonna like complete in a week or a month or a year. It's like it's an ongoing something that, well, here's the thing I say about habits. Now I shut up. That our minds automatically create them. However, once they become automated, we stop paying attention to them. And that's like that feeling when you zone out when you're driving, you're wondering how you got to your destination that you're so familiar with, but you weren't actively aware of what was going on around you because you've got the habit and the routine. You know to avoid cars, you know the signal, you know to make this turn, you know when you see this thing on the road that you get into this lane. And your mind, but you're not like consciously doing that. So the trick is to stay aware of your habits so that you can change for the environment. Like you throw somebody in the water, they're not going to try to walk out of there if they know how to swim. Right? So, you put somebody on a soccer field, if they've never been exposed to the game of football, they're probably not going to try to play football when people are out here playing soccer. It's not going to add up. So getting into the right environment, but making it so that you're easily triggered, but aware of where you are at all time. And I think that's one of the gifts. That's one of the things that I really felt like I gave away this year, was just helping people to be more aware of what they're doing all the time, and not and breaking that habit or that cycle of just like being on autopilot and doing what others tell you to do, and not constantly questioning the things that you're doing. So that's my gift that I'm moving forward with, is like that awareness, that self-consciousness and self-awareness, 24, like even when you're on your sleep, like, am I sleep? I know when I'm not resting enough. I know it. I know it daily. I got 6 hours blocked out on the calendar. I know when I've done my evening routine. So where when I wake up, I'm gonna be like, let's go run. Versus, you know what? I stayed up a little late and I want to stay in the bed a little longer. Like, I know it. I'm conscious of that.
Every morning.
It's not just something that happens to me, though. It's something that I'm consciously aware of and doing everything in my power to control what I can control. And let the things that I can't control be.
Well, I can't control my children waking up in the middle of the night, so
no, you can't.
I've given up on sleep. Somebody didn't recommend.
Well, I don't have children yet because I ain't quite figured that. I'm learning that steadily, right? I'm learning like you can build habits in them early too, but you gotta lead. You have to model it for them, right? I'm not a parent, so I don't have the parent experience, but I spend a lot of time around children, imagining what is it like if I got to deal with them every day. Look, God bless y'all, because there's a reason I don't have none of my own yet.
Yeah,
I ain't figured out my routine yet.
Well, I ain't figured mine out, and they still showed up. So they won't wait for me to get it together. They accelerated me getting it together. So it's all good. But no, well,
I received that. No, not that I'm going to make a baby. Just,
no. You don't need to know. No. Like if they show up, but like don't. I want to speed
like
up.
You don't get practice time. There's no warm up for the. It's like once they arrive, it's go time. There's no. I need to figure this out now. You gotta. They're alive. They're here.
Make the adjustment.
But can you imagine though applying that to your own life? Like every day you wake up like I'm alive. I'm here. I got to take care of me. I got to take care of my needs.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't do that. Like they wake up looking to serve somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
They wake up waiting for somebody to tell them what to do, because for most of their life, that's the habit that was built into them, right?
Yeah.
And I heard that so many times. Yeah.
It's still like I recognize that for myself. Like I like having a set of instructions. I like knowing what to do. I don't, and so being on this entrepreneurial journey, you gotta figure everything out.
You gotta write your own.
Right. Like you gotta, and I'm like, I don't, and so that's how, because I like getting results and the journey isn't filled with results like in the beginning. It's figuring things out. It's making the plan, it's writing. I'm like, so kind of to your point, and with me talking with my coach on a regular basis, it's me. I'm becoming more aware of needing to get results within my day. So it may not be in my business, but because I don't get results setting up the business, I have to get results in other areas so it fulfills that need. And I'm willing to devote the time to doing what I need to do in the business.
Yeah, because practicing it can feel like you're not getting anything done.
Yeah.
So you gotta create a result from the practice.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's one of the big shifts that I'm making going into this year. Is like every time I record a video, I have another video to put out. Mm-hmm. But I've recorded myself on accountability calls all year long, and I haven't shared them with anybody. Mm. So like I've been practicing, but I haven't been publicizing it.
Yeah.
Right. And I haven't been getting any reward other than what it does for me every day to show up and celebrate. Oh yeah, I did this. Mm-hmm. So maybe like shifting it to making it live and visible to somebody. It's like, hey, we in here.
Yeah, but are you okay? And are you okay if you do that if nobody watches? Kind of goes back to the conversation we was having last week. Are you okay? Like our job is to plant the seed. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay. So here's the crazy part. I'm all about planting seeds. I don't care if anybody watches it. I care to know who's watching it and who wants more of whatever's going out.
So are you okay if nobody watches it? That's a simple question. Yeah, as long as you okay with that, you good.
Yeah, like I don't care if anybody like once I put it out there, it's out there.
And the only reason I'm saying that is because I might be a little bit off on what y'all are talking about, but I hear y'all saying like I got to set it up where I can get results. And I get that. I don't know if we talking about the same thing or not. I was just I know. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was saying that like I have to set up my day. So like I use today as an example. Like I've become much more keenly aware of like what's triggering me, positively or negatively, right? So earlier this week, I got contacted by a prospect with my financial services business, She texts me. She's like, I'm ready now. And this was maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years ago that I initially was introduced to her. So she texted me. We set up an appointment for this morning at 8. I had forgot about it. I saw a text from her at 8:45 that she sent me at 8:15. And I was like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to meet her at 8. I'm like, give me 15 minutes. We hopped on at 9. By 12 o'clock, I had collected the information, done 2 applications for her, and I felt great. I'm like, I ain't got to do nothing the rest of the day. So I got results that I still did other things, but I got results that day that were so like I'm not motivated by money personally, but I know that I need to do things that generate money. And I say I'm not motivated by money in terms of like it's not the sole motivation. And I even shared with her that what I do in financial services, I'm not motivated to do it enough to rely on it solely for my income, because I don't feel like I would do it with the right spirit. If I got to be thinking about I need to feed my family by closing this policy, I may not have the right intentions in dealing with that customer. So I don't want that to be my main source of income. It's a source of income. I'll keep my license so that when people are referred to me, I can put them in a position to put some things in place. Or I can refer them to somebody else who can do it for them and I can get a split or whatever, right? So like, I don't want that to be my main source. But I was like, man, I started my day, right? By noon, that was done. And so the rest of the day, anything else that I do, any other result I get in the day is a bonus, right?
You believe it's a bonus.
I believe
I'm gonna throw those qualifying words in there. You believe it's a bonus.
I believe it's a bonus, right? I did something that generated income because I'm not motivated. Like if I hadn't had the appointment set up with her, would I have done something that would have generated income today on my own? And I don't believe that I would have.
How about this? You ever heard of the book Go for No?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
You know, are you familiar with the concept?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking about that as you're talking. Are you familiar with that book, Makar? Yeah, I'm thinking
I haven't read it, but I am familiar with the concept.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that as you're talking, as you're saying, you know, that's why I said, you know, like you feel good after you got that thing accomplished. I could think about a lot of days where I was in sales, where I went out and sold 2 in a day or 2 in a house before 2 o'clock. And that attitude of feeling accomplished after that led to my demise for the rest of the day. And I'm guessing you can figure out why.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wasn't really going for no. And the only reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm just chiming in on, as you're saying, like I'm not attached to the result, right? Like if the objective is to do the activity and not really worry about the results. Because if I get too attached to the results, if I don't get the result, then I'm depressed. And if I get the result that I want to, like I'm on an emotional roller coaster. So I'm being controlled. My emotions are being
as
controlled
opposed to just showing up and finishing the practice.
And that is more or less the go for no philosophy. The guy said in the book, he said one of the quickest ways to sabotage your day as a salesperson is to go for yeses, is to focus on the accomplishment. Because what if you get the yes too quick? Whereas if your goal when you go out for the day as a salesperson, hypothetically, is to get 4 no's. If my objective is to get 4 no's and I go out and I sell a Kirby or I sell a product quick, look at where my emotional level is. Not only am I not, I just sold, I'm good. I'm actually in panic mode now. Like the day is going on. I've been with this presentation for the last 2 hours. I got 1 no out of the way, or I haven't gotten my 4 no's yet. My objective is to get 4 no's for the day. Well, I went in the house and I sold, and that created a like it's flipping the switch. Whereas if I go out and I sell and I get happy, that's gotta affect how much activity I put in for the rest of the day. Wouldn't you agree?
So I wasn't.
Engineers don't work like that. I got to jump in right here because I'm thinking about when I was learning how to write code. Look, I can go there, and you know what? We'll break that code. I'm talking about we'll go in, fix it, and type it up. All right, did it run this way? And I'm testing. But the goal is to get that thing to run. Mm-hmm. And once it runs, I can recycle and reuse it. So I think no, I hear you 100%. I think and I'll let Majida share it. But what I'm feeling like it's gonna go is for those that are like us, right? And the people who have different behavior styles. Like, I want to get my process down so I don't have to think about whether I'm gonna get the result or not. It's like I execute my process?
Right. Like it was effortless to me. It was just asking the next question. All right, you ready to move?
Right.
Like I know what but
so for you, it may not be going for no, but like, did I ask all these questions today?
No. It's not even that. I know that I'm like, and if y'all hear me coming from, like, I'm motivated in certain areas by people.
Mm-hmm.
When I have a relationship, when there's a relationship of trust, I operate differently than when it's business. Like when it's like I can, so to speak, turn the switch on and off, right? So I prefer for the switch to be off. I don't want to have to operate in this high intensity shark dog eat dog, right? Like,
right.
I get in that mode when I need to, but I don't like to stick. I prefer to just be laid back, relax, serve people, but like serving people in that capacity doesn't necessarily put food on the table, right? Like, just I can't be Mother Teresa and be as wealthy as I want to be. So understanding myself, knowing myself, my motivation for serving people in financial services is very what is it? I don't know if that's the right word, but it's from a very giving place, right? Like, I just want to serve. I want to help them. I want people to have the right fundamental things in place.
For you, it's essential, right? And it's like, hey, if I can give it away, I can give it away.
Right.
However, I have to justify giving time to it. For me,
I would do it. I would still do it. I would do it pro bono.
Yeah.
Like, I sincerely would do it without making money on it. I make money from it, but I don't do it to make money. And I don't want to have to do it to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I truly want, right? But, and this is what I shared with my client this morning, I have absolutely no issue taking money from corporations. So corporations who have millions and billions of dollars who are willing to pay me for my services, I will charge you and invoice you based on the value that I'm bringing.
Yeah.
I'm Robin Hood, right? I'm looking to redistribute the wealth to the people that I'm serving with the fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm positioning myself. So my intention in doing that work, in my intention in taking from the rich, so to speak, and giving to the poor, is I'm not naturally geared toward that, right? And so I'm not going to wake up in the morning like, how can I go be Robin Hood, right? Like that doesn't wake me up, right? But it when I saw the text from my client, oh my gosh, like, I was supposed to be up 45 minutes. I was up, but I wasn't like up and at 'em, right? I missed our appointment. I was late to get our appointment, and she was understanding of that. But like, that was more concerning to me than somebody expecting me to be at a meeting that, like, I feel is a waste of my time, right? Because it's like, like, I don't have the same, what's the word? Commitment or connection. Really, it's connection. I don't have the same connection with a corporation as I do a person. So I operate differently in those spaces. So when I said that, okay, I was able to get a result, I did something that made me money today, and it helped serve people. And when you talk about, like, what do you wake up, what are you passionate about? I'm passionate about serving people, but I don't necessarily always have somebody to serve on my schedule, right? Or in that capacity. I recognize, for me, I have to have activities during my day. So like tomorrow, there's money that I can make tomorrow, right? I can invoice for stuff tomorrow. If I spend an hour, hour and a half doing some work, I can submit an invoice. I don't really care to do that work, but I can bill for it. So I will do it tomorrow so that I can bill for it. But I don't enjoy doing that work.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, no different than the salesman doesn't enjoy going out and hearing no. But he knows that hearing the no creates the opportunity for the yes. So I don't like to do those activities like you just now said, but I know that a hyper-focused regimen that allows me to do those activities is what creates the result. Like, I was just making the point that I think that I think there's value in just doing the activity, and literally I'm not gonna get happy when I get the result that I want, but I'm also not gonna get sad when I don't get the result that I want.
Right.
Because my focus is on getting the no. Now, I'm not saying that's how I live. I'm just saying that that's the philosophy that's shared in that book. And to me, it's like a whole different way to approach results as opposed to activity. Because I'll say again, like, sometimes if you hadn't got the result that you wanted, or if the result hadn't came out that way, would your emotion, like, I
felt as good if I didn't close an account.
Okay.
Just because you sat down with somebody and talking about this stuff.
I sat down, and I was able to inform and educate a person about something that can help them move forward.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like, she contacted me earlier this week. She was ready to move forward. So whether I close it today or close it in a couple days, I was able to get it closed today. So now the 3 hours that I spent, it would have been like an hour, hour and a half for the first appointment, and another hour and a half on the next appointment. I was able to combine both appointments essentially into one. So that saves me time. But my fulfillment from sitting down with her was being able to share information that I've learned that's helped me, that can help her. Like, that's rewarding for me.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
And to me,
that wasn't how you said that a minute ago, though. You was like, I got happy after I got the result. And I was like,
wait. I'm saying like I don't have to do it. Like, all right, I made some money today. I cannot have to do stuff to make money the rest of the day, right?
But now watch this. You may not be dealing with that, but I'm willing to bet that there are a lot of people that don't know that's a hump for them, and they don't really know how to get over that, because they get happy when they get the result. But when you get happy like that, when your emotions are attached to the results that way, that's emotionally draining. Like, every time I get the result that I want, I'm up. And every time I don't get the result that I want, I'm down. I'm constantly, like, I'm not in control of my own emotions. And to be successful as an entrepreneur, one of the traits that I would say that's required is for you to get your emotions out in front of your results, as opposed to the emotions being controlled by the results. That's all I was pointing out. And that's difficult for people when they first start out. But I would say the way around that is to not focus on the result. Like, I'm going out today, I'm not looking for 4 yeses or 2 sales. Just speaking about sales, for example, I'm looking for 4 no's. And that way, when I go out there and early in the day I get a yes, I don't feel that I'm no closer to my goal. Like, look at the way that I feel after I sold something. Like, that to me is the way that you go out there and have a super day. You'll never have a super day in sales if your emotions are tied to the results. As soon as you get the result, you're gonna quit. And the only way you're gonna work hard is if you like I'll do another show to try to get a yes. Like, I'll do 4 demos in a day to get to the yes. But that's the only time I'll do 4 presentations in a day, is if I have to. If I get the yes up front, don't let me get 2 yeses in my first 2 demos. I'm taking off the rest of the day.
I love it. And you know what? I think it's a lot like I don't know, Maurice, have you ever worked in a restaurant?
Yep.
You have. Okay, so everybody here's worked in a restaurant, and you got a couple different types of people, right? And I'm gonna tie this in to how, like, it's building your life forward. Now, for those that have ever worked in the back, right? Who were wage employees, basically, you know, they got paid for their time doing their job, right? Like, you'll put in however many hours a week and wait for your paycheck, right? And you're putting a whole lot of trust behind, like, they're gonna give you a paycheck based on the number of hours that you clocked or logged. Whereas somebody who's on the floor, who's waiting tables, when they show up every day, they know their table turnover is the most important thing. It don't matter how many hours. how many tables can I turn over in the amount of time that I'm here? Because that's what's going. Like I got to sell each table on my ability to serve them, right? And that's a lot like sales, right? Just using this analogy.
It is sales.
It is. It is. It really. You're selling yourself every time, right? I think that's where I got some of the early experience. And one of the benefits is that you get that reward or no reward, right? When somebody don't tip you, you might feel some kind of way when you don't get tipped. You're like, what's my? But you don't have time to think about it because you got to turn over that next table. Mm-hmm. And it's having that kind of attitude when it comes to building a business that you got to approach it. It's just like, you know what? I put in the work, I put in the time. It didn't turn over. No big deal because I got to flip it and turn over the next. I only have so much time in this life to do the things that I want to do. And so I'm going to either put the time in to do the things I want to do, or I can sit there limiting not having the things that I don't have. But either way, for me, like what really set me free when it came to sales, and it's still a challenge for me to get into doing the sales because I look at everything like being automated. By the time you sit down and talk to me, you already know what you want. That's where I'm at. Like I got a system and a process that by the time you sit down and talk to me, you already know what you want. It's whether it's in your budget or not. That's the only thing we really need to talk about, right? Yeah, we'll get in. We'll talk about what your goals is and such, and what you're doing and how you. All that's great. I love hearing your backstory. We can spend a whole lot of time doing that after you in the program. But in that time leading up, I need to know that the time that I'm spending with you is going to be worth something. Not only to me, but to you. Right. The time that I'm taking away from my family. I got to call this at 9:15, 6-7 nights out of the week. If I'm going to be spending that hour with you every day and not with my partner or not, with my children, my nieces and my nephews, like money is the only way I can justify doing that every day. Like I can't just do this as a hobby forever. Unless I have resources that are taking care of the money side. Mm-hmm. Right. Taking care of the self-action. Like it's great. Like I'm being myself and it's wonderful. I'm in my authentic self doing that. However, I can't eat authentic self. Okay. I'm still working on that. Like, it's me. Every day I'm full. Ooh, I just wake up and I just imagine full and imagine shelter and then I imagine, transportation. Still working on that part. But until then, I gotta justify how I'm spending my time to the people that are most important to me.
Yeah.
That's what, like, I tutor recreationally. Like some people be like, I don't do math. I do math for fun, but I gotta charge people. I have to charge people. That's the only way I can justify giving that time up to not doing something that could bring even more value to somebody else's life.
Yeah. And for me, and this is something that I shared with a friend of mine. Like,
sorry, I got real high.
Oh no, you're good. I took this exam twice, and I failed it the first time. I failed it the second time. And back to Maurice's question earlier about mistakes, right? The first time I failed it, like kind of the doubt started to like, are you like you ain't ready for this, right? So what I did immediately after failing it the first time, I went and I'm like, all right, what could I do differently? Well, I can actually invest in the resources that I'm allowed to take into the exam so that I have access to the information instead of trying to like figure it out on my own, right? I went to the first exam blind, no resources, like
that was just a control. Like, all right, what do I know? I could have took a practice test, but I paid for the whole thing to see what it's really like.
I took a practice test too, and I was like, all right, I did 79% on the practice test. I need 70 on the actual exam, but I Googled all the answers for the practice test. So that didn't really serve me, but I had the answers from the practice test and I reviewed and studied those. The actual exam, none of them questions. It was like a whole different set of questions. I was like, all right, well, that didn't
testing
work.
Something else.
Yeah. So second time I took the exam, I had all of the resources that I went and I spent probably $700 or close to that on the resource manuals, all these different resource manuals that I could actually take it to the exam. I went through highlighted some things, tabbed some pages, all this kind of stuff. That was more or less a waste of time because I still had to like go to the table of contents or the index to find the information when I was looking for the answers. But then during the test, I took too much time answering questions because I wanted the answer to be right. You know, like I'm like, I can't. So I failed the test again. And I was like, well, I realized that I left one of my resources home and there were quite a few questions on that particular thing. But also, what's the lesson that I took from it? I got to pace myself because I was like, I'm going to just cram a few days before the exam, browse through these resources, tab the pages, get familiar enough with the information so I know where to find it when I see the question. But that didn't work. So what I'm taking is that, all right, you have to change the pace, right? I operate generally at a slower pace, but I have to learn how to pace myself in order to get results that I want. Like I said earlier, I like knowing what to do and being able to get it done. Well, I'm moving into a space where I don't know what to do. So I have to develop a process or a system to approach how to get things done. And so
those hidden lessons. Yes.
Right, the first exam, I failed it, but within a day or two, I had purchased the resources to take the exam again. I failed the exam the second time. Within the hour following the exam, I had scheduled the next exam. And so now it's like, all right, how will I pace myself over the next 3 weeks until I take that exam again? So that I develop the habit of devoting consistent time to something that I don't enjoy doing. And that's essentially that's really what the point was. I enjoy talking to people about their finances and helping them develop a strategy and a plan. I enjoy doing that. So I can do that anytime, right? I feel good about doing it. And whether I get a result or don't get a result, it's the stuff that I don't enjoy doing that I have to develop a system to do. So that I don't think about when am I going to do it? Because if I have to think about if I'm going to do the stuff that I don't want to do or don't enjoy doing, I'm not going to do it. And the day will go by, a few days will go by, a week will go by, a couple weeks will go by, and I'm not moving the needle. I'm not making progress in an area. I say I want progress, but it's because I haven't developed a system to do the things I don't want to do. So that's an area that I'm working towards getting stronger in, is just consistently having, and I know when I have the time to do it. It's like Bakar was saying, I gotta have quiet time. So I can get up early, I can stay up late, and it's committing to doing that consistently, right? I get up 4 o'clock in the morning and I will just sit up until I like fall back asleep, and then my alarm goes off at 5:30. So why not, when I wake up at 4 o'clock, drink some water, wake myself up, and then do the stuff that I don't want to do, and then it's done. And then I can celebrate the win for doing what I didn't want to do, and it's done for the day. And then I start my day off and do the things that need to get done or have to get done. And so that's the shit that I gotta make, right? It's the going for no, either it's 4 a.m. or at the end of the day, hey, I have an alarm that goes off at 10 p.m. because my children, right, often I try to get them in the bed by 8 o'clock, 8:30. I'll lay down with them, and if I doze off, putting them to bed, my 10 o'clock alarm will go off. I'll wake back up. And at that time, I can take an hour, do something I don't enjoy doing, so that I do it for the day and build that muscle, build that rep, so that as I move forward, I'm not thinking about it. So developing the consistency in doing that, like that's really what I know that's what I will need to be successful in business. I'm gonna have to do something I don't enjoy doing. I've gotten a little spoiled, especially in like my job, because I got people that can do the stuff that I don't want to do.
Gotten spoiled because you're an American. Seriously, we spoiled as hell, dude. For real, we spoiled as I don't know what over here. For real,
you're right. You definitely need that international work ethic, right?
Yeah, that's admirable. It is like we know what it is to be without. Like we ain't worried about this little stuff y'all over here. Where y'all talking about. I heard somebody saying on the news the other day, man, I'm really upset about the fact that the child tax credit checks that have been coming, like they're gonna be children that that are gonna go back into poverty if those checks stop. And it's like, nah, bro, like $300 a month ain't stopping no child from going into poverty. I wouldn't think. It's we spoiled here in America. I didn't want to get off on a tangent, but like we be complaining about nothing here.
Well, I wanted to bring this point up earlier. I did want to bring up this point earlier when you were speaking about I want to say it was the real estate. Might have been something Bakar was saying too about like finances. Oh no, I think you're both speaking to it in terms of like you were speaking about it, Maurice, about showing others the possibilities, like, or making it possible for people around you that need to see it's possible. And so I was speaking to Yasmin earlier today about this idea that we were taught or credit was promoted or introduced to us through consumerism. And the not the trick, but really this country is built on credit. We're just learning now using credit or using debt
wisely,
right, to get what it is that you want. I think about nurses who go to school, they spend $140,000, $150,000, $180,000 to become a nurse practitioner, whatever the case is, so that they can make 100, 200 grand a year. It's an investment, right? They use debt as an investment or as leverage to get the outcome, right? If you can invest 140 grand that you can pay back over time, and it affords you $12,000 a month in income, $16,000 a month in income, to where you can live the lifestyle you want to live, save money, buy a house, buy the car you want to drive, like live a lifestyle. Why not, right? But past generations, when they were sold that, or they were, they got credit cards, they bought stuff they couldn't afford, and then they struggle to pay it back. Well, now they printing money. Incomes are, like you can, even in a job, you can make a significant income in a job, but if you don't know how to wisely use the money that you're making to then turn around and create or invest in income producing assets, right? Because that's a degree it's an income producing asset. It can be, right? You can use a college degree to be an income producing asset if you have to get into debt to get the college degree. You don't have to do that. You can go.
You become the asset. It ain't the degree.
Right,
the degree is more like a ticket. It's a ticket. It's admission into a place where you can earn an income doing a certain specific type of job.
Agreed.
Most often. It is not an income producing asset, because I got 2 degrees and I promise you they're not producing jack squat for you, boy, right now, because I ain't put them to work nowhere.
What? You're not.
I wish I give somebody my degree and be like, hey, can you pay me just for this degree? I need whatever you need back.
I'm just saying, like, but you can use, right? But the perspective was like, okay, I went to college and I got all of this debt, versus I went to college and I
went to college, got all this knowledge and exposure.
Right. Or I went to college, although I got into debt, I leveraged my debt to position me to earn a certain income that would allow me to live the lifestyle I want to live. They don't look, how many people, 60, I don't know what the percentage is, but a bunch of people who got student loans ain't paying on them. Deferred, and what's the other word? Deferment or
default?
Forbearance.
Okay, yeah.
80-90%, I might be exaggerating, are deferring their student loans or they're in forbearance. And they living life. They are living. They traveling, they buying or driving expensive cars. They don't care about them student loans. They leveraged it to live a lifestyle and create the income that they wanted for themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's really about perspective. And I'm not saying that you got to go do that, but it's the same way with real estate, right? With real estate, we were taught, okay, get a mortgage, buy a home, versus invest in multifamily properties and allow that to generate money for you, right? Like, we just got to shift our perspective, because we were told, oh, don't get a credit card, or don't get into debt. when this whole country is built on that, right? Learn the rules of the game and play by the rules. The rules say get debt to leverage it to
create assets.
Yeah, to better position yourself. Versus save up your money, save your pennies, put it in the bank, wait for it to grow, and then buy the stuff that you want. Or work for a job for 30, 40 years and then retire and enjoy it. Bump that, right? This generation.
It says borrow seeds, plant them jokers, grow your own
harvest, and then
the harvest, and then pay the seeds back. Yeah. Yeah. Borrow seeds. That's the way it's set up. Borrow seeds. Because if you ain't got seeds, you got to go work for seeds. Yeah. And all the time somebody was playing, you'd have missed the whole season. You'd have missed a whole season.
So yeah.
Okay, you know what? That's the message right there. That right there. That's what we're going into 2022 in. Borrow the seeds to get your harvest this year.
Nah, I don't want to be.
I'm not saying go out and borrow money.
Yeah, I can't let that.
What I'm saying is invest in yourself now.
Yeah.
Well, that is not what you just now said. It's all good though, because the driver of that, the way to get around that whole piece right there is to produce. But you
gotta have something to produce from.
Well, I mean, all you need is a penny. All you need is a penny. And the only reason I'm saying produce is because like we have that ability to do that. Like you can borrow. You know what I mean? If we in a barter, and I know, and I'm keeping my eye on the time here.
Barter or exchange?
I was about to say, if we're in a
exchange what's in you for what you need. Forgive me, I cut you off. Go ahead.
If we're in a barter society, you have to show up with something.
Yeah.
Listen to that. If we're in a barter society, you got two choices: to show up to the bean guy or the guy that got milk and say, "I don't have anything. Can I borrow?" And he may lend it to you, but the lender, the borrower is always subservient to the lender. A beggar people cannot ever attain to the highest that is in them. Right. And do you know what that's really saying? When you say that a beggar nation cannot attain to the highest that's in them, what that means is until you get your money right, you can't be all you could be.
Hey, so say it to the camera.
Until you get your money, I'm looking dead in the camera. Until you get your money right, you can't be all that you could be. So I was just saying, like you right. I mean, you can borrow the seed to begin to plant, but we in an age, right? That's going back to possibility. Like it's so easy to just create. Nicole Havlicek created an e-course, something that don't even really exist, and made 300 grand from it this year. And if you know how to produce, you don't need to borrow.
That's even better.
If you know how to produce, that's the reason why our country is in the position that we're in right now. That's the average reason why the average household is in the position that it's in right now. Production is not high enough. Consumption is too high, and production is too low.
You're right.
But that's the point that I was making.
So go out and produce something. Yeah.
Well, that's the same point I was making. We've been conditioned to have a consumer mindset, even when it comes to consumer credit. Right, credit itself is not a bad thing, right? Banks are set up to offer and provide credit, but you can have a consumer mindset and you can pay.
Mess that up.
You can pay the 18, 20, 24, 36%, or the ridiculous payday loan rates of hundreds and thousands of percent in interest on money that you borrow because your consumerism put you in a position to where you're borrowing more than you can afford to pay back. Or you can have the producer mindset that says, I'm going to borrow, bro, I'm going to have something for you. I don't want to tell it. But like your wife showed something to me today, a house for 160 grand that's had 2 price drops. And
that's 6'3"?
Yeah.
Yeah, I sent it to her. Yeah.
Right.
I saw it.
So you sent it to her. She shared it with me. I told her to send it to me. I sent it to a realtor today. The realtor told me the comps for that house after repair value is $625.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
So the house needs some TLC.
Crazy.
The renovation.
I'm available.
right. The renovation might be $100 grand, right? Maybe pushing 150. But I said, let's say worst case, and I told Yasmin, right? let's say the house is 160. Let's say we had to put 90 grand into it, and we could sell it for $500,000. I was just lowballing, right? Like $500,000 based on that area. We borrowed a 250.
Do the work.
Make 250. Keep it for just over a year so that you avoid short-term capital gains tax. But like whoever is involved, we can all split it and make a few this year, right? Like start on 2022. Let's go. I already asked her. I'm like, all right, what you need for a 203K construction loan? You need a 620 or 640 credit score.
Damn.
Somebody
hold up.
You know, it's just having the information.
Mm-hmm.
So like knowing that, like we can move, we can make. You said you want to get in real estate. Look, I got a deal right now.
I am getting in real estate this year, 2022.
So look, all right,
it's been long enough.
Tomorrow we can make an offer. Ain't been no other offers on the house, and the house been on the market for 57 days.
Mm-hmm.
So why not, right? Like the opportunity is there. But it's having the right information, having the resources around you. So yeah, we borrow the money to renovate the house. The mortgage got to be paid over the next 12 months to 13 months, however long we keep the house until we resell it. Well, what was I thinking? I'm like, all right, if that's the case, let's say everything included is $1,000, maybe $1,200 a month. I have a business that I can generate $1,200 a month, right? So the work that I don't like to do, but I can make money doing it. All right, I need to do $1,200 worth of billable work to make sure that I can pay the construction loan every month. Like that's the way that I'm gonna leverage the credit.
Cannot produce
something.
Yeah.
So somebody's paying me to pay the mortgage. That's going to then turn around and be able to pay off. Generate the.
Now we talking. Yes, let's go. Let's go into 2022 with that energy. That energy right there, producing a little bit more. Whether it's content, whether it's courses, I think that's what I need right now is to put out a course. Y'all hold me accountable to that. But Card Bay is gonna put his course out, your habit mastery course in 2022, because y'all need it. We all do. And then Majida gonna get us on the real estate tip. Maurice, I'm gonna need your help and your network. Get my YouTube channel going.
I got you.
Just to have those conversations. I'm gonna get my girl Danny G on here too. We're gonna bring her into the Seer call. Bring a little flavor. So hey, this is it. You all be safe tonight. Be smart. We still got COVID. We still dealing with it. But a few years have gone by. So trustfully, you've gotten into your COVID routine. You've pivoted. You've made some changes, and make 2022.
Sorry.
If you don't have a plan yet for 2022,
COVID joint is in the way, man.
Like get started on your plan. Get started, but most importantly, start taking action. Taking action, immerse yourself into the environments that's gonna get you some experience and exposure in the things that you want to experience and be exposed to. I mean, go do it. Go do it, right? Can't be made any simple and produce something along the way. All right, Maurice said, document your journey. Produce something, produce a little bit more. I'm excited. I just got an invoice that came in, which is going to go into 2021 year, which is cool. I'll log that. I had it set up so that it would hit the beginning of next year. But that's all cool. I mean, I just gotta go out and eat again. You know what I mean? Let's get something else on the books for the beginning of the next year.
Hey, I just got my first ClickBank check too. Y'all don't know what that is, do you?
We don't, but congratulations.
But like, what is your ClickBank?
Huh? What is my ClickBank?
Yeah.
I just got my first affiliate product check. I just got my first check for promoting affiliate products.
Okay.
Nice. Nice.
That's a hell of a win if you know what ClickBank is and you know what I just now said. I know that I knew when I said that. I was like, it ain't gonna be.
Okay, so you when you said ClickBank check, you got a check from ClickBank, but it was through affiliate market. Got it.
Nice.
First ClickBank check. Like that's a huge, that's a big one right there. I know people that said they got started with ClickBank. It took them 2 years to get a check, 3 years to get a check. I've heard people say that before. And my first check for $137, 6 sales.
Look, everybody should have affiliate network partners. And whatever you buy, you sell a little something.
No, we're not generalizing.
All right, I'm not. It's not. No, it's not.
I understand the internet and all of that. I could do without it all because I'm gonna go do the work and I'll show up later and tell you how I did it. Like I don't need to. Me personally, this ain't no knocking nobody else, but me knowing myself, me investing time telling people about what I'm doing is taking time away from me doing it.
Everybody's business model is different.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you gotta know you, right? Like you being out in the public and in front of people energizes you where it drains me. So then I finish.
I'm just saying, if you buy it, own a little bit of it, share a little bit of it.
So yeah,
right. I'm not here to be walking.
Something else I'm gonna do this year as well. I'm gonna buy ownership in a few businesses as well. I'm gonna buy me some stock this year.
All right now. All right, hey, the year's already looking bright. We got 1 hour before the new year. Where do you see yourself a year from now? Just a little fun experiment. Where do you see yourself a year from now?
Rich.
I like it. What about you, Maurice?
She not getting away with that.
I'm just messing with y'all. Man.
That's what I'm saying. So we need a serious answer. I don't know what Picard talking about.
Do we?
Yeah. It can be one word, but you can't just throw nothing out like that. Oh yeah, okay, next. No.
Better. Definitely better. Is that acceptable?
No.
No? You want tangible where I'm gonna be.
Because I already know you're gonna be better next year than you are. I already know that. Like, okay, right. Okay.
I'm adding investor. That's when I'm gonna be in the investor class. So graduating into investor.
But you were
class.
already in investor class.
No, I don't have any investments I could say that I could cash out today. So
okay. I don't want to go into a whole nother conversation, but you're gonna be in the investor class, or you want to have an investment that you can cash out? Those are two different things.
Okay. Yes. Go say
yes to what?
Yes. For me, it's about the identity. Right.
Y'all kill me with the ambiguity, man. Y'all kill me with the ambiguity.
No, I get it. Having investments to me makes me an investor, but being solely an investor is not all that I'm going to do. It's to add to my identity. I'm not.
Where you going to be at next year? 1 year from now?
A year from now, I'm going to have investments.
Y'all kill me with the ambiguity, man.
All right, you give us your answer, and then we can,
I'm going to have my income replaced from my job by this time next year. I'm going to own a personal residence by this time next year. I plan to have an investment property by this time next year. I plan to own, say again?
We can have that tomorrow.
I plan... Possibly. You got to remember, I still owe the IRS. But anyway, I plan to have ownership in a few businesses. I plan to have a few shares of stock next year. I plan to contribute more money to my insurance policy, to invest in index funds than I did this year. Those are some, I don't know, those are some pretty concrete, tangible things. Like I plan on doubling the income that I make from my job right now. I plan on making at least $6,000 per month by this time next year, at least. I would say 6 to 10. I plan on having a house by this time next year. I plan on owning some stock next time this year.
Got it.
I will be fully engaged in my business next year. by this time next year, I'll be fully engaged in my business. So to your point, I don't know that I'll replace my income, but I will be positioned to do so by this time next year. I will be moving towards the right side of the cash flow quadrant, like being solely on the right side of the cash flow quadrant. So I'm currently on the left side and the right, like I'm teeter-tottering between the two. I want to solely be on the right side of the cash flow quadrant by this time next year, to where I can let go of self-employment, being an employee, and solely be a business owner and investor. So that will be my goal by this time next year. My big, hairy, audacious goal for 2022 is to generate $20 million in my business. And I shared that goal. I shared that goal earlier this week with the 120 planner community. And so the accountability for that is what I was speaking about earlier. It's setting up the consistency in my schedule to do the things that aren't fun doing. It's not sexy work, but to build the business over the next 365 days to be able to generate that type of revenue. So some things are already set up, but there's some other things. I have to build that muscle, though, of like being in that business owner mindset. And to Bakar's point, like I've been doing work to create the lifestyle that's conducive for my mental health, my physical health, me as a parent, and all of that. So incorporating those things in a way to where I'm not sacrificing the things that are most important to me. But I will need, even just in my schedule, committing to the schedule that I've set up to help me be successful. So, yeah.
Where you going to be at this year next time, bro?
All right. So I will increase my work income and my business income. So I go home. And by go home, I mean to engage and marry my partner. So I expect to transition into husbandry.
You plan on getting married this year?
Not this year.
2022?
2022. Okay, yeah, it's this year, next year, somewhere. Yeah.
You plan on getting married 2022?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm excited about that too, actually. From there, actually developing business systems and courses so that my business is automated, so that similar to Margita, I'm shifting myself from the self-employed over to the employer. The business owner quadrant. And then the last one is going into the investment class. So being able to take those resources and reinvest them into some other income generating assets.
Yo, I want to close out with this right here, man. And this might sound...
This has been the longest podcast that we had held.
Crazy.
But I guess we could go for an extra hour. We just want to ring in the new year together. But I know that y'all want to be with your families and stuff.
Yeah, and I gotta and some of us gotta get up for work at 4 a.m. I'm going out to get some money tomorrow, bro.
I'm gonna get up. That's right. I'm gonna get up with you. Start off the new year making money.
I'm gonna be up at 4 a.m.
Same here. I know I got a tutoring appointment sometime tomorrow.
But watch this though. I want to close out with this. I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago, and he used a term. I can't remember the term, but he said he said something is going on right now in the universe, and he used a term for it. It's a Googleable term. I can't remember what it was, but he was like, what that means is right now it's a time of getting what you want. This is what my friend was telling me, right? And I've been thinking a lot about that since me and him had that conversation. And like I've had several things within the last few weeks / months that are things that like they happened. I can remember thinking that I wanted it to happen, and Like it happened. I can't recall anything right now off the top of my head. Ain't no use in going into it. It's too late right now. But the point that I'm making is like, it's like, yo, I've seen clearly some things. It's like either I wrote it down or I just dwelled on it and it happened. And I ain't talking about nothing that I thought about 6 years ago and it just happened this year. I'm talking about things that I thought about 90 days ago that have happened recently, and it's just been on several different things. So one thing that I'm going to take more seriously in 2022, and I would urge anybody still listening or that listens to this on the replay, like take that seriously, being deliberate about what you want. That's one reason why I wanted us to go through that little exercise just now. I think it's real. If it is true that now is a time of getting what you want just because it's in the ethers, then obviously we got to be careful about what we're thinking about. What we're thinking about is what we really want. And it's like, just I for me anyway, I'm gonna focus on being a lot more specific and deliberate about what it is that I want. And that's difficult sometimes because a lot of times I'm thinking about what's possible, not necessarily what I want. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that what you focus on.
I would urge everybody to focus on that. I would urge everybody to focus on that going into the new year, man. Like if you don't do anything else, like the action, but make sure like you writing your goals down and you spending a few minutes thinking about them every day. And if you got to write them down in the daytime and in the evening time, that's not a bad activity. Like every time you write something down, it stamps it in your mind. It programs it in your mind. So if all you do is write your goals down, look at them for 5 minutes, ball the paper up, throw it in the trash can, and then before you go to bed, come back and repeat the activity. That's gotta have an effect on your subconscious, man. And that's something that I'm gonna really take more seriously next year, because I believe it seems that it's true. It's like, damn, like I just thought about this a couple of weeks ago and it happened, you know? So like be deliberate about what you want next year, 2022, man. Because it might be, I don't know, I can't think of that word, but my friend is like, yo, it's a time for what you want coming true right now. You should be able to look around you and see that. And I've been thinking about that ever since he told me.
Nice.
Yeah.
He primed you and now it's becoming real for you. And thank you for sharing that with us.
100%.
Because I know we about to out here get it. So, well, hey, this has been Share Mastermind group
for 2021.
This is 2021, y'all. Hey, this is our story, our journey, and we're doing it our way. Looking forward to another great year, a better year, a phenomenal year, another growth year. Man, and to really level up in some different ways. Like we're not getting younger, so let's get better. All right.
We out.
2021.
See y'all next year.
See y'all next year.
We'll see y'all next year.